Great to have you as a teacher.
Oh, man, I'm super happy.
Again.
Rosemary, hello.
Good morning, everybody. God bless you
Good
today.
morning. How are you? It's a pleasure to see you again.
Bless you too.
Good morning and many blessings.
He was on my team. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, Jose Miguel, hello. I'm going through the pages. It's fun to see you all. Hello, Maria, Ulisa, hello. Marisa, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Mateo. Good
morning.
Garlands. I see you now. Good morning.
Good morning. God bless you greatly.
Oh, thank you. God bless you. What a beautiful day to start out with. What a way to start the day, to start with you all. Wonderful. Great. How are you all doing?
Great. I'm so happy.
So happy to see you today.
Oh, me too. Me too.
We're gonna learn a
I'm
lot
so glad to see you.
for sure.
I feel like I get to share Christmas presents with you all today. Educational
Yeah.
Christmas presents.
That's good. That's amazing.
I hope they're useful. Do you have some coffee?
Are you ready?
No, thank you.
Breakfast.
I will bring you some coffee if you want some coffee.
I already have mine.
That is something that this part of the life, always have a reason for celebration.
Great, Davey, we do. Yeah, just being alive is a great reason for celebration.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, dear Tiburcio.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maximo here.
Nice Tiburcio. Nice seeing you guys.
Nice to see you too.
Good morning.
Morning to our dear partners.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey. Here we are.
Today we are Santo Domingo today. Region 15, right?
Uh-huh. That's right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, this is exciting. We've got about 91 people here so far. I don't know if people had a hard time joining, but if you would like to share the link this morning with people who are with other English teachers, this is the link. So feel free to share that link with any other English teachers that you think might be having a hard time coming in. It's technology. We do the best we can. It's technology, it's COVID. We do the best we can.
That's right.
Also, we're sending out a link here on the chat for the first attendance.
Mañana 18 vamos, martes y jueves al grupo y miércoles y viernes a otro grupo.
Yes. Hello.
Remember to mute. Remember to mute, people.
Thanks for the info.
How is the weather there, people?
Pretty beautiful, sunny, at least where I am now, Santo Domingo.
Yeah, it is sunny and beautiful.
Awesome.
Nice.
Right. It's just one time we will have this workshop.
Well, we're doing the workshop 9 days for different regions in the country.
Okay.
All right.
You're day 3, so I'm still fresh. Wait till day 9.
All right.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think what I'd like to do is invite Jean and Carlins into the spotlight. So we're going to invite you guys. We're going to bring you into spotlight us. And Yvonne, if you can help me find Carlins.
I can find Carla.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Bless you.
Morning.
Good morning, Mackinson from Santo Domingo.
La herramienta que utiliza Rubén. La herramienta.
Good morning. Good morning.
Google Meet.
Microphones Morning. off.
Time for Yvonne, what if we mute everybody? And we will get started.
Okay.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Do that.
I love hearing your Dominican Spanish. Ya tú sabes.
You will be muted. Mary, you will be
Ya
muted.
tú sabes. Okay. Yeah. Great. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy to have you here. And we're going to start out today's session with a few words of welcome from Jean Bogar and from Carlins Camacho and from myself. And then we're going to dive in. Jean, would you like to start?
Oh, yes, yes. Again, good morning, everyone. Thanks to all of you for being here, participating in this important training about the use of the guide for the teachers and the cuadernillos for our English students. On behalf of the Ministry of Education, I would like to thank to the Center for Collaborative Learning and the Center of Teacher Training of the Dominico Americano, who are going to be the trainers today, and also to the American Embassy in Santo Domingo, who sponsored all the training, but also the materials that we are going to review or to see today. We hope you take advantage of this course in order to improve English teaching and learning in our public schools.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Carlins?
Good morning, everybody. I think I'm going to be echoing the good morning. It's so great to see all of you today here in this session. And as Mary was saying, you're a group 3, but I can hear that you guys are a very dynamic group 3, so that's a very good and exciting. We'll welcome you to this session. We just want to motivate you and encourage you to take advantage of this time with Mary, to ask questions and to be curious about the resources that the U.S. Embassy has funded and that I4CL team and the Dominico team have created for you. So thank you very much for being in this session. And I hope that this morning is a very productive one for you. And we'll see you throughout the morning and have fun this morning. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlin.
Carlin.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. My name is
Thank you very
Mary.
much.
And, well, great. That's sweet. I'm Mary Scholl. I'm from the Institute for Collaborative Learning. We call it I4CL, formerly known as Centro Espiral Maná. And I'm super grateful and happy to be with you today. We have a 3-hour training. We'll have 2 short breaks in the training. But I trust that you'll take care of yourself. If you need to get more coffee, if you need to stand up and move around, I trust that you'll take care of yourself for that. It is great to see some familiar faces here and also some familiar names. It's fantastic. I'm excited. I hope that what we're sharing today is useful for you. And I hope that we have a good use of your time this morning. I know how precious your time is. We're going to be sharing the American English online resources. And these resources were envisioned by the Office of Curriculum Development at Jean Bogar's office in the Ministry of Education. And they were supported and funded by the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo. And the creation of this came from a collaboration between the Dominico and the Institute for Collaborative Learning. And so there's a lot of people who have been involved in getting us here today. So I'm really grateful to them and really grateful for this opportunity. And I'm also mostly grateful for you all for showing up. So I'm echoing the same thing. Let's see, we're going to get started. And let's see, a few notes, just a few logistical notes. Please stay muted unless you're talking, unless you need to talk. We'd like you to raise your electronic hand. You can raise your physical hand, but you could also raise your electronic hand. Can a few people raise your electronic hand so we can see what that looks like as a reaction in Zoom? And somebody raise their electronic hand. Let's see. Ah, thanks. Yeah, I see quite a few there. Sorry, I didn't have my list. Great. Thanks, Diary. And Lucia. Dorcas. Hello, Dorcas. Great to see you. Nice.
Hi, it's good to see you too.
Great. We also have a number of people who are alumni from our courses. We've been running courses in the Dominican Republic for a few years now. So it's really, really wonderful to see our alumni
Yes,
too.
for sure. We're here, Mary.
Yeah. Thanks, Consuelo. Great to see you, Consuelo.
Again.
Oh, what a treat.
Send my regards to Nico.
I will. I sure will.
Laura.
Yeah,
And Espirna, Mary.
Espirna, hello.
Hi.
Oh, so sweet. And hello,
Nice to
Jose
see you
Miguel.
again.
Nice to see you too. I like this. I love this human connection element of this work because in the pandemic, where all these virtual things are, sometimes it can be very limiting as far as human connections, right? So it's great to see you all. Okay, so we've got please raise your hand. We've got that down. If you also can't figure out how to raise your electronic hand, you can wave until someone sees you. We have Ivan Suazo from I4CL here, who's going to be one of our troubleshooters. Thank you, Ivan. And Carlins Camacho is going to help us out too from the Dominico. So thank you, Carlins, for that. We might try breakout rooms. We haven't had luck with breakout rooms. I don't know. I think we'll try it once and see. But hopefully you'll have a chance at least to share here and maybe in breakout rooms. We'll have to see. All righty. So another thank you that I'd like to shout out today is to the Office of English Language Programs. And they're an office in the US State Department based in Washington, DC. And they've sponsored today's training. So we're really grateful for that opportunity to have that work. And they have a lot of resources for English teachers. So we'll be sending you later on a link to their website and lots of free resources for English teachers. So thanks to them. We are now starting out all of our sessions with something called the Land, Languages, and Peoples Acknowledgement. We want to start out just acknowledging our gratitude and connection to things that are greater than we are. So I'll start out, I'll read the first paragraph, and Carlins, if you could read the second, and Yvonne the third, and then we'll look for some volunteers for the other two. So, the people of the Institute for Collaborative Learning in Costa Rica acknowledge with gratitude that we live, work, learn, and play on the traditional territory of the Huetar, Bostos, and Rama peoples.
In the Dominican Republic, we acknowledge the language, food, and traditions of our ancestors, the Taínos, Ciguayos, Siboneyes, Macorixes, and other tribes who have sown the land and dance areito to celebrate life. In addition, we recognize the entwined with our African roots and the mestizaje of our ethnicity and culture.
In Washington, D.C., we acknowledge the traditional territory of Nacotang and Acostan Pistagüey people. We acknowledge this legacy and find inspiration from this land.
We have a volunteer to read the next paragraph.
We endeavor to live, work, learn, and play with respect, humility, and compassion. We recognize and cherish all languages of the world including all the languages spoken in the communities and classrooms of the participants, organizers, and facilitators.
Finally.
Okay. Can I do it?
Okay.
Sure.
Finally, we
We can-
we acknowledge the future generations that will live and care for this earth and for the people that will live here. We strive to give them and children a safe, abundant, healthy environment filled with love.
Thank you all so much for that. Would anybody like to add any other acknowledgement of the land, language, or people? Something that you'd like to acknowledge as we're starting out our session together today? Or would you like, do you have any comments or questions about this?
I have one. I have one. Mary,
Okay.
hello. Hello, everyone.
Morning.
It's a pleasure for me to be in here. So I have
Happy
a
to have you.
question. Yeah. I would like to know if the material of this training is related to a material or something that we are going to teach during this academic year. So
Absolutely.
because we are doing our stuff, you know. We are doing our job from November something. So I would like to know that. Thank you very much.
Edison, thank you very much. That is exactly what we're doing. So a couple years ago, we created something called the American English Teacher's Guide. And that's directly linked. It's resources for you to use. It's directly linked to the new curriculum. And this year, we created some materials that are so the American English Teacher's Guide is for teachers. It was created before the pandemic for you all to use, to download, to make copies of. It was lesson plans and materials. During the pandemic, we've made some resources that we're about to share that are also geared towards using them directly with the students. They're called student workbooks, and that's exactly what we're sharing. So I know you've been working since November. I wish we could have done this in November, but it's February. Here we are. We're happy to be here now. We really hope that they will be useful. That's why I feel like I'm hoping this is like a Christmas present to you. I hope you look at it and go, oh, I can use that. I hope so. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Darlene, did you have a question?
Yeah, actually, I have an acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge God because He is giving us the opportunity to be here, sharing knowledge and information. And I think that this is very important.
Thank you very much. Is it Darlene Moises? Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. I want to start out just a quick settling in. I don't know, we have 178 people here today. I would like to ask, how have you been? How are you doing? How has the pandemic impacted your work? You and your work? And we'll have some space for a couple people to speak. And also, if you'd like to write in the chat, please feel free to write in the chat, and we'll be looking at the chat and hopefully responding and noting that as well. So how has the pandemic affected you and your work? Please raise your hand electronically and we can call on you. We'll start out with Darling Moises and then Angel David.
Okay, talking about the pandemic, it's too hard because no one was expecting it. You know, I remember last year, it was pretty much in February 17, actually. It was the election here in the Dominican Republic. And the day after, I mean, I remember it was a Friday. Then on Monday, the country closed everything. And, you know, it started being so hard because no one here was prepared to work online. Because the first one was the materials. We didn't have all materials to work online. And then some students didn't have even computers or internet to work online. And we have all of that stuff together. Then we thought, okay, the pandemic will be for just 1 month or I don't know, 3 weeks, but it is 1 year already. Right now, it's easier because I think that we have the tools and students are prepared to work online and everything. But even though we miss this contact, the physical contact, it's not the same being in front of a screen to be in front of our student teaching, having this feeling, you know, and for me, this is so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, darling Moises. It is hard. And how could we have expected? I mean, actually, I think we might have. We're now learning a little bit about what some of the scientists know about our world. We could have known about it, but I think it's too politics and life is too complicated to actually believe that this might happen. So it's hard. It's really hard. I agree. Thank you for that. And David, and then Abraham.
Okay, so as my partner said, it has been a hard work that we have all the time because we didn't expect that. But as we are humans, as we say, we are adapting to any situation that happening around the world, right? All the time when something happens, we adapt it. And becoming us to have to be better person at the same time. That process, the pandemic, made us to find different solutions for keeping safe our classes, right? I know at the first time in the beginning was hard, was difficult because we didn't expect that will happen. But at the time that was passed, and we was adapting and we was finding different results, we will find a different solution to grow up and save everything. And I suppose that is life. We have to be ready for something happen. We have to be ready if it's something happened that you didn't expect that. But the most important here is you have to be ready for continue. And that's it. Thank you. I didn't hear, Mary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, we have Abraham.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Great pleasure to be here with all of you. Well, in fact, it has been totally different because we have gone from a face-to-face teaching to a remote teaching, and it has given us the great opportunity to grow, to increase, to learn something different. So I have taken advantage of this pandemic because I have been working a lot, studying a lot, and learning new way of teaching and how to make my students learn in a different way. So I consider that we gotta be happy. So we gotta be a little bit sad because of the pandemic, but we gotta be happy because it is just like an opportunity for us to grow, to be different, and to readapt our methodology and strategy.
Absolutely, Abraham. And isn't it amazing that we're here today?
Yeah,
it's amazing. I'm in Costa Rica. I'm on my front porch in Costa Rica.
Yeah,
and you all are all over Santo Domingo. That's amazing. Yeah. And we do have new.
Yeah, I'd like to say something else. I'm going to be really brief. So I was saying to a friend of mine that before the pandemic, I was used to work with Zoom, but after that, many people know that device, that tool. And that, I mean, it started different.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Thanks, Abraham. Okay, Nicolasa, it will be the last one, and then we're going to be moving on to the next piece of this task in our training.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mary School. It's a pleasure to be you here again. In my case, was like my partner was talking about, it was sad, a little frustrated at the beginning, because it was the first time that I was facing a situation like that. But I was living in the city at that time, and I moved back to my parents' house. I was living there for 7 months again. It was like, oh my God, this is a new life. How am I going to deal with this? But I was adapting to the situation. And related to my job, I feel sure now because we were trained in the use of some technological tools to teach into a student in a digital way. Now it's like a relax, but it was difficult and frustrated at the beginning.
Oh, Nicolas, I
Thank you.
understand that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank the other people who have their hands raised. We're going to move on to the next one, but I hope that you'll participate in some of the next questions that we have. We've been sending out in the chat this link for the opening attendance sheet. Please, please, please fill it out so that we know you're here. And we'll have an attendance sheet at the end of the session too. So you're started 10, 11, 12, 1, the end of, yeah. It's 7:30 for me, right? It's 9:30 for you all, it's 7:30 for me. So please fill this out, we appreciate it. Another thing we'll be doing a little bit throughout the morning is some eye, body, mind stretches. So we've actually been here for about a half an hour, so please think about stretching. Look away from the computer, look far away and look close, rest your eyes. This is something else that we have to take into account when we're sitting at our computers all day, we're working on our computers all day. So some eye, mind, body stretches. I see a few people stretching there. That's great. Yeah. Wonderful. The next thing that I would like to share with you is the actual link to the resources. Now, this link, when I click on it, and I'll send this link out in the chat. Thank you so much. This is the link to the resources. We are going to do a few things today before we dive into the resources, but I want to share it with you. And if you're a multitasker and you like going in immediately to things, this is the link of where you would go. There's two main resources here. The American English Teacher's Guide, which I know some of you already know because you were in our training for that a couple years ago. And the new one, which is the American English Student Workbooks. So what you would do is you'd click on the American English Teacher's Guide. We'll click on that link. And when I click on the link, it takes me to this website. This guide was designed for you all as teachers before the pandemic. And there are resources for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade from primary and 1st through 6th grade of secondary. When you click on one of the links, so if I go to 4th grade primary and I click on that link, I will have some functions. And these are the functions from your new curriculum. So I click on the function, let's say I click on function 1, hello, goodbye. When I get there, you'll see there's 3 documents. There's activity 1, activity 2, and additional resources. When you click on, let's say I click on activity 1, and you'll get a PDF. And the PDF has all of the information about the activity. Some of it is in Spanish because it links directly to your curriculum, right? The pauta para la elaboración de la situación de aprendizaje, competencias específicas, indicadores de logro. Those are all going to be in Spanish. And then the objectives, strategies, materials, and the procedures all in English. We give you our suggested lesson plan. And then the materials that you would need to print out, or you could make a poster, or you could create, you're going to be creative with how you're going to use it, but they're all there. This PDF you can download onto your computer. You could download, you can print it. It's free. It's yours. You take it. You do with it what you want. So we have resources in the American English Teacher's Guide. We have resources for all of these functions. Some of them have, we're still updating a few things. Some of the, we made a first draft and there's a few differences in a few of them, but I'm going to show you the ones that are closer to final draft, but you can use any of them now. And the main material is there. So that is the American English Teacher's Guide. If you go back to our opening page and you click on the American English Student Workbooks, you come to a page that looks very similar. And these are works that are designed for your students and for your families. So if I click here in 4th grade, there's 2 units now. Soon we'll have 5 units. Okay, but you can use these now. You can use all of this now. It's for you, it's free, it's there, right? So if you click on a unit, the same thing happens. We'll open it up and you'll open up the document. And in this one, it's a little different than the teacher's guide. The student workbook, we have an introduction to the unit and we have it in English and Spanish. In case you want to copy this and send it home and you want the parents to read the instructions, you can have the parents read your instructions, right? So we put some things in Spanish. We also have an initial self-assessment in English and in Spanish. Just the three things. So this one I can name and write 5 colors, 8 months of the year. I can ask and answer personal questions about my name and age, and I can answer true, false questions to demonstrate the understanding of a comic strip about superheroes. It's all related to the functions that they have to do. So there's the self-assessment. Then we have exercises on vocabulary. We have exercises for grammar. And we have a reading activity. We have a reading practice. And we have, look at that, we have comic strips. It's fun. And then we also have a final self-assessment, a task for a portfolio, and we have flashcards. Right? So hopefully all of the material is right there and it's useful for you. It's useful for your students. And we also have, we know that we have people, we have a range of people, a range of access to technology. We have some students that have no technology and have no internet access. For those students, we could print this out and send it home. Right? We have students that have access to technology and access to computers and internet. For those students, there's one other activity that they could do. They could do an online practice with Quizlet. Quizlet, and we'll look at this a little bit later on in the 3rd hour, but I just want to share. Quizlet is an online vocabulary activity. So we have the flashcards here that you can send your students to, and they can play games and do things with these flashcards. So that's already set up. And you also can take this activity, if you want to create your own Quizlet room, you can do that. You can just copy and paste the whole set of cards. It's all free. It's all there for you. So those are the American English resources that we have online. And we're going to do a few things before we get there, but I wanted to show it. So our agenda for today, we're already at 7:37. We're going to do a little bit of a community builder now, and then we're going to look at caveats and care and theoretical foundations, and then we're going to come back to the resources and spend some time exploring them. That's our agenda for today. So what I'd love to do is a little bit of community building with you all, and I'm curious, how do you usually start your classes now in the pandemic? How do you start your classes? Do you start out with warm-ups, energizers, icebreakers, builders, something else? I'd love to hear 2 or 3 voices, and also please write in the chat. How do you start your classes now in the pandemic?
Do we have to raise our hands, or
I think it'd be easier if you raise your hand, but since you're unmute and ready to go, what if you share, Louis?
Okay, I'm Lewis from the Dominican Republic. I usually start my classes with an emotional video and then have them share their insights about the video we just watched. And it is really good because they have the opportunity, the chance to talk and forget about their jobs and forget about their homework and talk about something different that motivates them to, to take advantage of this opportunity of learning English, empower themselves on the target language, which is English. Thank you.
Thanks, Louis. It sounds like a nice way to start. It's always nice to start with some motivation and listen to them and what it means to them. That's really sweet. Carlins, do you want to help us choose who's going to speak next? I'm sorry, and I see Elieser's wanting to raise his hand too.
Hi, everyone. So I see that we have George, Abraham, and Maximo. So we're going to do that order too. So it's George, Abraham, and Maximo. That's the order. So George, you can unmute, please.
Yes, I did already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, for me, it's very important icebreaker. When you enter the classroom, as they already said, it's very important to get in contact with them, is to make them feel they are in the classroom, and you could make try to make a separation between their lives before coming into the classroom and beginning with a class. So it's very important. We can use or I use more than one, but normally icebreaker is a way to begin with them. Thank you.
George.
All
Thank
right.
you, George.
Okay, the way I start my classes, it all depends on the topic I'm going to work with. For example, if I'm going to work with family, I'm start by pre-teaching using TPR and telling something real. So I just all depends on the topic I'm going to work with.
Yeah. Thanks, Abraham.
Okay, good morning. My name is Maximo Alzekis. Really, I agree with Abraham. Most of the time I used to start depends on what other students. You know that in this case, they are getting into the class step by step, one by one. We have to wait for them. So then we see what exactly we need in that time. And I usually start just by praying, talking to our God and warm up sometimes. And sometimes depends of a video that we're working with too. That depends of the time, right? And the students too, sometimes they are a little bit sad, a little bit sleepy, and we need to wake them up. That's all. Thank you.
Jerry, do you want to hear more voices?
Oh, sure. How about two more, and then we'll move on.
Great. So on the list, I see Alejandro and Marcelo. So Alejandro first, Marcelo then. Alejandro, you can unmute. Okay, let me help you, Alejandro. There you go. Alejandro, we can't hear you. You have to unmute.
Your microphone is off, Alejandro.
Can I start until he get prepared?
Sure thing.
Alejandro, release the
microphone is
microphone.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna help him. So Marcelo, please.
Saludo, no
Thank you,
escucho.
everybody.
Hold it.
I think Alejandro must release the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
Yes,
listen
everyone.
to Marcelo, and then we'll go to Alejandro. Let's see
Yeah.
if Alejandro can.
I
Marcelo,
didn't hear Alejandro.
The problem is he's mute already.
He doesn't know. I think he doesn't know he's mute.
Don't worry, everybody. I'm going to be helping Alejandro. So let's hear Marcelo now. Marcelo, you have the turn.
Yeah, most of the time I start making somebody's talking. Most of the time I start by making a praying and ask them how about the day, how did they feel, and I start. It has worked for me since I know that most of the students like music. I start with some songs about their age, and they feel happy about it, and they start talking in English most of the time because they say, "Hey teacher, what's the name of that song?" And I feel great about it because when they listen something that they like, they start forgetting about Spanish and then start speaking in English. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody. And I see some more hands raised. We'd love to hear you in some of the next activities that we're doing. And what I hear you all saying really is that you're thinking about what your students need, that you're thinking about them making transitions from their outside world into this classroom. And you're also thinking about what you're teaching, and is there something that you can do that's linked to their teaching. One of the things that we do a lot of is community builders, and we do it all the time with every class, consistently throughout the year. It's not something just at the beginning of the year, or like an icebreaker. It's something we do all the time to continually work on building our community. And I think in the time of this pandemic, when we're doing so much work online, it's even more important now that we really make some space for building a sense of community between the people that we're with. So for us, our community builders, the main intention is for teachers and students to connect as human beings. The materials that we give you, the resources, have activities that have quite a few community builders in them. I want to do one activity specifically with you today as a community builder. And the activity uses an online die. So if I click here, I can roll the die. You see that? So we've got this, there's a link, it's a Google, you can do Google search on dice, a dice roller. And we can also give you the link for this in the chat. You just click on roll and it gives you the number. Very easy, right? Kind of fun. So I'm gonna, let's see, ask Yvonne if you could put that link in the chat. That would be great. In this activity,
I can do
that. What we'll do is we'll roll the die, and then we will ask and answer questions based on the number that comes up. So we're going to do this once here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite, we're going to do a spotlight. So I'm going to invite Darling and Marcelo, who's got their hands raised. Oh no, I need you to be, need your video on in order to be a spotlighted. I'm going to invite Lewis to come in as well. And if the three of us are going to play this game, okay? So I have Lewis and I have Darling Moises and myself. So I would roll the die. So we click here, we'd roll the die. And we get number 6. Then we go back and we look at our questions, which now it's hard to see because of this. There we go. So we look at the question number 6. Question number 6, what's been challenging during COVID? So if you could give a very brief answer, Darling, what's been challenging for you during COVID? Oh, sorry, let me help you unmute. There we go.
Okay, perfect. I was mute.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenge during COVID was teaching grammar online.
Great, thanks for that. Yeah, it's hard. Lewis, how about you? What's something that's been challenging during COVID? Oh, we got you mute. Can you unmute?
All right, Anna, since I have lots of groups, you know, I get tired. So for me, you know, to have some time to meditate, to stretch myself, it's been hard since I have lots of groups. You know, this is my problem. I work for a public school and I work for a PEC university. And then, wow, it's really stressful to plan all these classes online. These
Right.
digital materials, not easy, not easy.
No. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's hard. So it's hard to teach grammar. It's hard having so much to do. I think for me, one of the hard things has been trusting my internet. Like I have to have internet to work and I don't always have it. And so that's stressful. So that has been something that's hard. So this is what we would do. We would roll the dice, right? Roll the dice. You get a number and you come back and you find the question, right? Choose the question. If we had number 5, what smell brings back a pleasant memory? Where do you go to night times in nature? So I'd like to ask Carlins and Yvonne to send the questions to the chat as well as the link for the die. And we're going to try breakout rooms. Are you guys up for trying breakout rooms? The first day, the breakout rooms didn't work. Yesterday, the breakout rooms worked, but I couldn't bring you back. I don't know. So maybe today they'll work and I can bring you back. But let me tell you, so we want you to do this activity in your breakout rooms. We want you to talk with each other. If you don't come back within like 7 minutes, please leave the room and come back on your own, right? I don't know what happened with the technology with Zoom yesterday, but I'm going to stop the share. But I'd love to, and let's see, I'll take you guys off of the spotlight. Thank you for coming into Spotlight with me. That was really fun. And so we'll try the breakout rooms. I hope that you get a chance to talk with each other and do this activity. And if not, come back in 5-7 minutes anyways. Okay. And oh wait, let me do one thing. Participants. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's happening. Oh, wow.
Also like to teach grammar, to motivate the students, something that I usually share and that we have, that we do have in common. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Santa, would you like to share briefly?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, very briefly. In the room that where I was, only Edison and I, we were talking. I don't know what happened with the rest of the participants. We were insisting to ask them, they were there, if they were able to listen to us, etc. But it was pretty good because Edison and I, we are in the same team, having classes. So we share a lot. And we even share a link where the rest, if they were listening to us, at least to use the same website that we are using, and that is pretty helpful. We also recommend it here, and that you can use to teach English through music. So it is pretty good. So if you would like to, you can share with everybody, because whenever we get something that is useful as teacher, we might share with the rest. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Santa. Will you share that link in the chat now with everybody, please? That would be great.
Edison.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Germán Batista, would you like to share briefly? Oh, can you unmute, Germán?
Okay, excuse me. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, concerning to the things that we were just discussing in the group, that I was there, something that I was just telling them that it was focused on the second question. What's your favorite website? Why? So one of my favorite questions that I'm just using right now in teaching English is Nearpod. Nearpod is an interesting platform which allows you to make interactive lesson plans. So this platform, you can also upload, if you have already created a PowerPoint slices, you can upload there. You can also
Herman, can you share the link for Nearpod in the chat with everybody?
Okay, I'm just gonna say, as soon as I finish, of course. So you can also, beside that, use interactive videos. It means that you can display videos, and as soon as the students are going to listen, so there is a point in which the video stops, and on the screen appears a questions, a multiple choice questions could be also a poll questions that you can also start just writing words. Another things that you can use there is because you can also start just introducing activities. And the most important, the one that I like the most is one that is climb the top, something like that. I don't remember where that in this case, the students are going to start just connecting, and they appears like a monkeys, penguins, and something like that. And they are just like in a competence, in a racing competence.
Like a game.
So like a game. So this is a wonderful platform or website that I recommend you to use in order to energize your English classes.
Send us the link, Herman. Send us the link. That's great. Thank you.
Let me just try to get it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I think we have time, Giselle, a very brief sharing, just something really quick, please share, and then we'll move forward. And Ricardo, you'll be in the next question, I promise. Giselle, would you like to share something briefly? Oh no, Giselle, can you try unmute again? Sorry.
Yes, thank you. And the question we were discussing was, where do you go when you need time to nature? And I told to my colleagues that I don't need to go anywhere because I live in a countryside in La Cuava, near to Pedro Brand. So we have nature all around. We have trees everywhere.
You are blessed.
Yes, I'm very lucky.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to move forward here. We're going to take a brief break. Just a 3 to 5 minute break. You can stand up, you can move around. I'm going to be putting on some music. Let me make sure I can share the sound. From this place, a website that I'm enjoying, a YouTube channel called Play for Change. So 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes stretch. You might want to get something water, get something to drink. We're going to come back and we're going to look at care, and we're going to look at theoretical foundations. So very brief break. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Did you have a good little break? I hope so. Wonderful. A chance to move, maybe a chance to eat something, drink something. All righty. Let's see. Next. So just to go over, we've gone through the arrival, the community builder. Now we're going to talk a little bit about caveats and care, and we're going to work on theoretical foundations. And I think that'll cover this second hour. So a few caveats, really important, people, very, very important to think about what they are and what they're not. Okay. So we have two options here. Do you think the American English Teacher's Guide and the American English Student Workbooks are a magical instrument or tools with activities? How many of you vote for number one? How many of you vote for number two? Why don't you write your message in the chat, or you could raise your hand, number one or number two? A magical instrument or a tool with activities? What do you see? Herman, what do you think? Well, let me ask you to mute. There you go. Wait, I lost you.
A tool with activities.
Exactly.
A tool with activities.
A tool with activities, absolutely. I wish it were a magical instrument. I wish we had magic that we could just make it appear, but they're tools with activities. What they are, what they're not. Resources that will give students a chance to speak, or resources that make students speak immediately. What do you think? Yeah, right, Lewis. Number one. Right? Resources that give students a chance to speak. And actually the workbooks, it's also a chance to read and listen and learn vocabulary and grammar, for sure, but they're not something that you're going to do immediately. Are these resources a solution to all of your challenges in the classroom, or a source of inspiration to apply communicative activities? What do you think? Yeah, exactly, Lisa. Number two, yes, Dahiana. Yes. Thank you for letting me practice your name. They're a source of inspiration. We're not going to fix everything, people. We're all going to do the best we can and try with what we have, but they really are just a source of inspiration to apply activities. And we hope that, that they're useful. Inside of the resources, you'll find some information about the philosophy and the structure and tips and recommendations. You'll also see that in the teacher's guide, there's 2 main activities and an extra extension. And in the workbooks, we have vocabulary, grammar, reading, and listening activities. So you'll find all of that in them. We want you to know they're flexible and adaptable. Our objective is to offer inspiration and support, not imposition. Right? So this is not like you have to do everything in this guide. What we're trying to do is say, these are some things you can do, and you can also adapt them, you can change them, because you are the expert on your students. Right? You know what's right for your students. All of them are connected to the new curriculum for MINERD, and all of them will help students practice language functions, right? So now we're really going to focus on language functions in all of the work that we do. For example, saying hello and goodbye, or introducing yourself, describing animals and objects, talking about habits, expressing opinions. All of them are focused on language functions. So we hope that helps you implement the new curriculum. That's our hope. Right? So I already went over this. Something I really want to highlight, if you take one thing away or 2 things away from today, one thing is the resources, and this is number 2. This is the most important thing. The teachers always care, and it helps everyone to use care. What is CARE? This is an acronym, and it's an acronym about choice and decision. You as a teacher are always making choices and decisions. You make 1,000 decisions a day about what to do and how to do it. From these resources, you'll need to choose, what resources do you want to use? What part of the resource do you want to use? You will have to adapt. You might look at something and you might like it, but you want to change it to make it suit your students' needs better. Great, that's what you'll have to do. You might actually also reject some of the activities. You might say, I don't like that activity, we're not going to do it. Right? That's okay too. And finally, you might need to expand upon the activities. You might think, okay, that's a nice activity, and I want to do more. And so you'll supplement by, or you'll expand. So the acronym that we're using is CARE, choose, adapt, reject, expand. And we want to make sure you know that we're giving you the resources, but it's up to you to do the care work. Okay, that's in your hands. It's impossible to create one resource that fits every student's need. Right? So we're hoping that you'll do the care, choose, adapt, reject, expand. And when you do that, you'll be able to use the resources in a way that suits your students' needs. So we did the DICE conversation, right? Or you had some kind of conversation where you talked about the 6 questions. I would like to invite some people to tell us, how might you choose, adapt, reject, or expand any part of that activity from the DICE conversation community builder, so that that would suit your students' needs? How would you do that? What would you do? And let me get my participants up. Please raise your hands if you, how would you care, choose, adapt, reject, expand upon the DICE activity? Abraham, would you like to start?
Yes, well, it's easy. What I just got to do just to create my own questions. The question, they must be related to the topic I'm going to be working with. And I will use the DICE activity in order to tell my students, or to give my student turn. So this is your turn, do it, and now it's your turn, etc. So that's the way I will adapt it.
Thanks, Abraham. Yeah, I'd be a little bit more directive in telling students, and then also changing the questions to adapting the questions to suit their needs. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Mackinson, Fleur Aim. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I think that by planning or to your lesson plan and considering your group, what grade are you teaching, and then you can choose the right topics that you can adapt, to the group, and use some strategies, right, to make them um, inquire the topic that you want them to know.
Great. Thank you so much, Mackinson. That's a nice, yeah, absolutely. Any other ways? Ricardo, now we get to hear you. Yay, Ricardo. Thank you for your patience with us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and just to say hi to many known people that I'm seeing here in this workshop. I believe like one of the ways that we may use the DICE is as an evaluation tool. We always are looking for different ways on how we're gonna evaluate our students in this virtual environment, which has been one of the biggest challenges. So by using a strategy such as this DICE, it gives you the opportunity to check for understanding in a very quick way. And at the same time, the fact of the surprise of choosing the students randomly, that will enhance the capability they have to be awakened, to be active into the section, because just by having the expectation, like the DICE might point to me into a question that the teacher might evaluate. So this is pretty amazing on what we can do during the development of the class.
No, thanks, Ricardo. I love it. It's a great idea. It's a great way to have a formative assessment. And I love that you're mentioning the surprise, right? Of not knowing exactly who's going to be called on. So they're staying awake. Yeah, thanks. Great. Anybody else have any other ways of choosing, adapting, rejecting, or expanding on the DICE conversation that would suit your students and their needs? Okay, then we will move forward. All right, we're going to move forward into the theoretical and philosophical foundations. And we're actually going to be using this activity again to think about them. So we did the activity, I modeled it with a couple of you here online, explained it, modeled it. You went to breakout rooms and you played with different people in the breakout rooms, or you talked about the questions, you did something with that. My question for you is, what do you think the beliefs, values, theories, ideas that made me think, I want to do this activity with you? What's the theory underneath the activity? Why do you think I chose it? I could have chosen many other activities. Dorcas.
Well, maybe because these activities was going to give us the opportunity for all of us to speak. We can know each other, their needs, maybe their needs, frustrations, likes or dislikes, and that type of things. At the same time, it's good to know that we are not alone. So if we heard the others, if we can hear the others, we can know that maybe the situation that I'm having, or maybe the difficulties that I'm having, other people is passing that situation too. And to let us, how can I say this? Think about other things, because this pandemic is just overwhelming us. And maybe if we just breathe and try to interact with others, things are different, not just only looking at this monitor, but interacting with each other.
Yeah, absolutely, Dorcas, for all of those reasons, for sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lewis, and then Box. There we go. Yeah, I think I just asked you. How's that?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it is a great strategy to build rapport among us, your students right now, and to build rapport with you, which is crucial in the learning teaching process. And it facilitates everything, this activity, really. And you get to know us, and we get to know each other, or we got to know each other using this strategy. And it is really helpful. And I personally thank you. I'm very grateful, because now I'm gonna add this dice activity into my stuff.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Louis. Yeah, building rapport is really important.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you have a new activity. In the resources that we have a lot of other activities as well. So as you explore them, I'm hoping that we can give you lots of activities for your toolbox. Thanks. Okay, Box, Ruiz, and then Davy, and then Gregorina. Right. So.
Well, hi. Maybe it was because the best way to learn is by sharing, and this activity gave us the opportunity to share, our feeling, to share our experience, to share even our hobbies, because we have to talk about the last artist, the last song we searched for. So maybe under this belief that sharing is the best way to learn, you propose this activity to us.
Thanks, Box. Yeah, we definitely think sharing is a great way to learn. Social learning is an important way to learn, for sure. Davy, and then Gregorina.
Okay, can you listen to me? Good morning.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here sharing about this amazing scenario. And also, special greeting for those participants that I know from other places. For example, the master degree of I have some partners here. And I appreciate our technician from the district, 1503, Damien Francis. Thank you so much. Look at this. According to these approaches, this is something that is coming from to teach us to be better and great human beings, because we are facing a lot of problems, psychological situations, economical situation, a lot of things. But that is something that we need to take into consideration, that all of these come to teach us to be better and big, real human beings. That it's not only to for teaching language as a second language or as a foreign language, only for to be promoted to other grades, if not to create a condition in our children, to facilitate our the condition to our children to enhance, to improve as academic. And also, that is something very important to work with them, not in a mechanical form, in a mechanical modality, if not creating a critical mind that they can, everything that we try to teach them, they can be involved and all use for exchanging those in simple conversation. But this is something that we always looking for, to create critical mind in which they can to communicate their feeling. And also, what I always, this is the belief that I have since the first time that we face this horrible situation. Because in my house, we were affected with that situation, but it's brought like a learning to be a real human beings. That is something I wanted to share with you since time before. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Davey. Yeah, I appreciate that. Absolutely. Gregorina and Giselle, and then we'll move forward.
Good morning. In my opinion, one of the ideas that I have into consideration to choose this conversation is that every student have to grow in confidence, and they have to feel that they can get the language and communicate without fear. This is the idea that I have when I have to choose this kind of conversation.
Thanks, Gregorina. Absolutely. Every child needs to grow in confidence. And if we can create atmospheres where they can practice without fear, that is huge, right? It's so important, for sure. Thank you. Okay, Giselle?
Okay, thank you. And we also know that we learn from each other. So the communicative approach, and also in our curriculum, we have the communicative competence. So this activity helps students to be in interaction with their classmates and also with the teachers, and we can develop the ability to communicate with our students because they have to speak in this activity.
Absolutely.
And we can help them. Yes.
Absolutely. It's all geared towards communicative competence, right? Thank you, everybody else whose hands are raised. I appreciate it. We're going to move forward. There will be more opportunities to participate in a bit. What I'd like to share with you are six of the beliefs or theories that are underpinning these activities, the activities in both the workbook and the teacher's guide. And I'm going to give you a picture for each of the six, because I love visuals. And one of the things I'm learning more about in the pandemic is visual literacy. And how can I use visuals to get the idea across? So this first image represents the first theoretical foundation? Hands, all of these hands coming together. And you all mentioned this, you've already mentioned this a couple times. Learning happens in community. Students need to feel safe and ready to learn. Right? You mentioned that in what you said. Absolutely. And so that in all you'll find in all the activities, we're trying to create ways for learning to happen in community, for the social aspect of learning to be enhanced. This is number 2. Number 2, we see, and these are actually Dominican kids, and we made it, we cartoonized it to project some of their identity. But I hope you can see what they're working in pairs, and they're holding pictures, and they're talking to each other. And in this one, number 2, the second theoretical underpinning is that learning happens when students are the primary focus of the lesson and are actively participating. Learning happens when students are the primary focus and they're actively participating. So it happens in community, it happens when the students are doing things. Those are the first 2 theoretical underpinnings. The third, as you can see here, we have some students, there's 4 students sitting together in a group working. There's also 1 student in the back by himself. Let's see, let me put my spotlight on here. You can see this student here. You can see the student here by himself, and you can see these 4 students that are in a group. The third underpinning, the third theoretical foundation, learning-centered activities are designed by facilitating maximized opportunities for students to work individually, in pairs, and small groups. So number 3 is what we're always trying to get students to work in small groups, in pairs, and also sometimes by themselves. Sometimes they need space by themselves in the classroom to do their work. All right, so those are the first 3: community, active students, in pairs, small groups, and individually. Number 4. You can see here students are also standing with a partner, and they're standing. And number 4, we think that a variety of learning styles need to be addressed. So we designed all of the activities in the workbooks and the activities in the teacher's guide to include a variety of learning styles, right? So that hopefully you can reach as many students as possible and in their preferred ways of learning. So that's number 4. Number 5, beautiful red shoes going up step by step by step. All of the activities in the guide, the teacher's guide, and the student workbooks are scaffolded. So they're scaffolded in a way that we hope students are guided step by step, going from simpler to complex and from less challenging to more challenging tasks and activities. So everything is scaffolded step by step by step. That's the 5th theoretical underpinning. And the final one, we have this young fellow looking out with his binoculars. The teachers or facilitators need to be present to their learners and learning. And teachers need to decide when to care about the curriculum, when to choose, how to adapt it, and what to reject, and how to expand it. So the idea in this picture is that you as a teacher are really observing your students' learning. So these are the 6 little bits of philosophy that we have for you about why we chose the activities that we did in the student workbooks and in the guide. So my question for you is, what do you think about them? Which of these, some of you had mentioned them before and guessing about the DICE activity, but which ones are most important to you, or which ones are most challenging for you? What do you think about these theoretical and philosophical underpinnings? And feel free to raise your hand. Carlins, I'm going to actually ask you to jump in here and help with this.
Okey-dokey.
Thanks.
Okay, so on the list, I see that we have Alejandro and then Angel. Alejandro, let me just help you out with the unmute. Mary, I don't know if you have the chance to unmute him.
I'll do that.
Alejandro.
Alejandro, we need you to unmute yourself. We've invited you to unmute.
Okay, so while Alejandro tries to figure out that, we have Angel also. Angel?
Okay, so for me, one of the most important is the second one. Learning happens when students are primarily focused on the lessons. We have to know we are going to teach them. If we keep in mind that the focus are the student, we will make a great job. Why? Because we will understand that we have different type of students, and we are going to find different resources. We will find different activities for them. No focus on the teacher, no, it's focus on the students because we are interested that they learn. For that reason, I consider the second one for me is the most important.
Thank you very much, Angel. Alejandro, I think now you have access to your audio. Try. I think that you can speak now. It says that you are unmuted.
You mean, can I?
Alejandro, let's try Alejandro first.
All right, okay.
Let's see, Alejandro, try now. I think that it has something to do with your mic, Alejandro.
So too.
Because you are muted right now. I mean, you're unmuted right now. You have your mic open, but we can't hear you. Just please try to put your earphone. Exactly. Use your earbuds. Yes. Thank you very much. So while you plug those, we're going to go to Marianela and then Abraham, okay? While you plug those in, okay? Marianela? Marianela, you need to unmute? Yes, perfect.
Okay, okay. Yes, all of those topics are very important, but for me, I'm agree with the first a boy who are talking about is the second one, because when we focus those students, we can see their needs, you know, and try to give them the opportunity to learn more. And for me, this is the most important of the all. And all of those are very important. But the second one is very important because our students are very, they are very intelligent, but they need help, they need motivation to learn more. And when we put those needs or their need on our mind to help them to reach their needs and their purpose to learn another language, that's very helpful. That's all.
Thank you very much for your participation, Marianela. So Abraham, this is your turn. Abraham, you can unmute now.
All right. I agree with Bruno theory. Lesson needs to be scaffolded. So learning is a process, and I consider we should follow the process. And things should occur little by little, step by step. And I totally agree with Bruno theory. So we got to start with something. It is exactly how we learn when we were children. We learn little things according to our knowledge. And so that's exactly the way we should teach our lesson, little by little, step by step, and respecting the stages.
Thank you very much, Abraham. I see Herman has his hand up, but I would like to see if Alejandro has his headset on. Alejandro, were you able to plug in your headset? Do you have a headset with you? And if anyone knows Alejandro or has a way of, okay, let's see. Alejandro, try to speak now. Okay, So while we help Alejandro, and hopefully someone has the opportunity to call him and see if there's a way to help him there, okay? So I'm gonna go to German and then Maximo, I believe he was the next person I had in line. German?
Carlins, can you also include, I think Dahiana wants to say something too, right? So can you just put her on the list? I see her waving her hand.
Diana? Okay, great, thank you. So it's gonna be German, Diana, and then Maximo, okay? Let me just look for Diana. German, you need to unmute.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, for me, something in particular that I have already seen among all of those choices is number 3. Number 3 said learning center activities are designed by facilitating maximize opportunities for students to work individually, in pairs, and small groups. This is the one that drew my attention because you know that the student, so you have different students in a classroom and they learn in a different way. Some of them learn slowly and the other ones learn more faster. So in this case, to program activities that engage them, that they can also, and some students don't like to work maybe in group, they prefer to start just learning individually. And so in this case, we are supposed to start just programming activities that allow them to start just learning in their own pace. So by using different strategies, we can also focus on one strategies. We can also use different strategies depending on the student needs.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Catering to the needs of each one of the students is very important. Thank you very much, Herman, for that. So Diana, you can unmute now. Let me just see if I can help you unmute from here. I sent you the message of unmuting, Diana, so please unmute.
Hello.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Those are interesting, but the one that caught my attention was the number 4. The number 4 says a variety of learners that need to be others to reach a greater number of students in their preferred ways of learning. This caught my attention. Why? Because as a teacher, most of the time we see some students that they don't learn in the way that I teach. But that's the way, as a teacher, we have to look for some different some different methods of teaching students. There are students that learn by music, others that learn by seeing videos. Most of the students learn by seeing video and listen music, because some of the students consider that grammar is a little bit difficult, and is difficult in this normally. Nowadays, teaching grammar on the computer is a little bit difficult. And one of the most easier methods is seeing video and sending music to their students. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. I think that what Mary was saying about being curious on visual literacy is important, and how that supports learning as well, right? Creating that mental picture of things. So thank you very much, Diana, for that. Mary, let me know if we have the chance or the opportunity to get a few more voices in, or if we offer the chat to share.
I think we have room for 2 more, and then we'll take a little break.
Perfect. So I'm gonna go with Nicolasa. Hopefully I'm saying that name correctly. Hi, Nicolasa, how are you? You need to unmute. Perfect.
Okay, here. I agree with Diana. I was thinking about number 4, a variety of learning style. A student learning different way, and that's mean teacher has to know different method and strategy, and also need different resources to adapt the lesson to the student. And the other one is number 2, learning happen when a student are primarily focused on the lesson. sometimes we are thinking about, I have to respect the older the step of the lesson, and we don't think about how my student can learn from that I'm going to teach. No, I just thinking about, no, I have to continue working on this way because the technician is here with me, something like that. But I have to think first, not a student. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you. It's not about responding to situations, about catering to the students' needs. So we have quite a few people asking for the turn to speak, and we have one more
Maybe two more,
opportunity.
Carla.
So
Maybe we can go for
two
another
more?
5 minutes and then take a
Okay.
5-minute break. How about that?
Great, beautiful. So we're gonna do Ricardo, and after Ricardo, then we're gonna go to Maximo. And Ricardo and then Maximo. Ricardo, I'm gonna send you the ask to unmute. There you go. Ricardo, can you see the ask to unmute request? Okay, so I'm gonna then go to Maximo to see if Maximo can see it. Maximo, can you see the ask to unmute request?
Okay, good morning one more time. Maximo here, right? Can you listen to me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I agree with number 2. That is one of the most important, right, for us in order to learn how students learn. So we have to know that students are the primary focus of the lesson, and they must be actively participating in the learning process. If they are not participating during your class, I think that you know that they are not learning. So most of the time, the student just participate when you only send them some classes in order to do homework, something like that. So you must be worried about that. So your student must be participating actively at every time your class. So you have to do your job. Like if you don't have any strategy for them in order to make them work in your class, so try to look for something else. And the other one for me, the most important is number 5. So remember that learning English is a process too. From the simpler from to the more complex. So you know that you cannot start with something that they are not going to understand. You have to start with something that basically by images, pictures, trying to figure out things that they can understand you very well, gestures, things like that, that you know that they can understand. And I think that both are very interesting, but there is a question here that say that which ones are most challenging. I think that number 6 is one of the most, and number 3. So facilitator need to be present. So learning happens when students are the primary, no. I think number 3, learning center activities are designed by facilitating maximize opportunities for students to work individually, in pairs, and small groups. In our classes are difficult because remember we have too many students in the class. In order to have them in a group or work with them is very, very difficult. And number 6, to focusing and to adapt the class into the curriculum based on their observations, the learners. So we have to know that it's a little bit difficult sometimes because our students are just learning and they are not so advanced. They are not good at in English.
Mhm.
And so that's my opinion.
Thank you very much, Maximo. Thank you very much for that. So we have the opportunity to one more person. I think I assigned the turn to Ricardo, and I don't know if Ricardo can unmute, so I'm going to try again. Ricardo, can you unmute? Okay, Ricardo, can you unmute? Okay, so it seems like Ricardo cannot unmute, so I'm going to go to another person. So I see Lewis here. That was one name that popped into my question. Lewis? So I'm going to ask you to unmute.
All right, all right. I think all of them are highly important, but I identified most with the first one. Learning happens with the second one, I mean. Learning happens when students are the primary focus of the lesson and actively participating in the learning process. I love this one. When students are participating actively in class, what does this mean? It means that they are highly motivated, that they love being part of your classroom, and that they respect you and trust you as a teacher. That's why I pick number 2. And I respect all of your big ones, yeah. And but I'm gonna stick with number 2.
Beautiful. That's very valid. That's very valid. Thank you very much, Lewis. Mary, let me know how we're doing on time to see if we can get another voice in.
Sure, we can get one more voice in, then we'll take a break. I'm excited about everybody's excitement to share, so I'm a little torn.
I know, right? So I'm going to go again.
But we'll have more time in the next hour for comments and questions as well. So let's have maybe one more voice. And then we'll take
so
a break.
I see Luisa, Argentina. So I'm going to ask you to unmute. Let me know if you can see the message. Luisa? Luisa, try to unmute. Okay, so I'm going to move to Solano. Let's see, there's the message. Can you see the message, Solano?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I mean, we can hear you.
Okay, so I go with the, as the question says, or as somebody previously mentioned, I think that all of them are important. However, the most important for me will be, I think that the number 2, learning happen when students are primary focus of the lesson. So we need to be focused primarily directly on the student so that the learning could happen and that they are actively participating in the learning process. So they need to be involved so that the learning could happen. If they are not involved in the class, even though they are present, maybe for those that are not directly involved with the class, it may not happen the learning. So we need to take into consideration the participation of the student and make sure that they are involved with the class so that they do like the focus that we are taking for the class so that they could get involved and could like the process and the learning process could happen. Another one that I think is very important, it will be to take the lesson, the number 5. Lesson needs to be scaffolded in a way that the student are guided step by step. Because if we take it, let's say from the most challenging to the less one, they may not get what we need them to get directly from the classes. So we need to be going through the process with the student in a way that they are going step by step, and that way they will be taking the knowledge we want them to take them. So they will be getting the knowledge, and then we will be pushing a little bit more and pushing and pushing so that they could be getting a little bit more and more and more and more until they completely get the knowledge that is required for them to get. So the one that could be more challenging now in the situation that we have, maybe the number 6, even though we can be present with the student over the technology, but now it's more difficult because in our society, not all the students may be involved in a way that we could be present with them. Some students are not able to get connected to us, maybe because they don't have a device that they could get connected to. Sometimes they need to use their father or mother device for they to get connected to the class. And therefore, when we try to get connected and try to adapt the curriculum and in a way that they could that we could get closer to them, it gets a little difficult now in the situation that we are with the pandemic and stuff. Another one that it may be a little challenging, maybe, let me see, I saw it before.
And I think that you have mentioned very valid reflections, especially the one that is focusing on the students and the one that says that you need to scaffold your lessons and knowing how to build that knowledge a little by little, knowing how to push them. Thank you very much for that. And you're absolutely right. Connecting with the students right now is a challenge, specifically because of the technical part of connecting, right? Those who have a device, those who have access to internet, it's easier for them, right? So thank you very much for your participation today. I think we have time, Mary, for one more voice, and I'm going to go to Luisa. Luisa Argentina.
I'm
Great.
here. Can you hear me?
So, yes, please. So briefly, could you please share?
Okay, so in my case, I will mix like number 3 and 5, learning center with scaffolding. So I will take I do it. In fact, I take my students step by step to get the knowledge, especially working in groups or doing pair working. In this way, students with lower level could help. It could be helped with those that got more knowledge or about the grammar and the topic. So scaffolding to me is really important because my students can use the previous knowledge through the next step.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Luisa. Mary, tell me if we move to break or... Okay, yes, we're moving to break. So Regional 15 is not disappointing on participation, huh, Mary?
Oh, I love it. You guys are awesome. I wish we had time for everybody to listen to everybody. And it's really exciting to hear your thoughts on which of these philosophies or theoretical ideas are most important to you. It gives me a lot of faith and inspiration. After the break, we're going to take some time to look at the resources. You're going to explore them, and I'm going to go over them again one more time. Then you're going to explore them, and there'll be lots of time for questions and answers. So take a quick stretch break. We're going to put some more music on, another song from this YouTube channel of Play for Change. And just 3 to 4 minutes, little stretch break, move around, get something to drink, move your bodies, move your eyes. We'll see you in this. Yep. Thanks, Doris. Okay. So let's explore. Again, I'm going to go back. There's this opening page, and I'm going to send this link to you again in our chat. Here we go. Oh, and Edison was there. Great. Thanks, Edison. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys learning. Lucy has a question. What's your question?
That's kind of funny about that sometimes.
I gotta teach right now. Is it all right if we talk afterwards? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Had to attend to my neighbor there. She had a question about dogs. Esther, great. You were there too. Wonderful. All right. So we go to the main page. We're going to go over the first resource, the American English Teacher's Guide first. This guide was created before the pandemic. It was created for you all as teachers to support you, that you could download this or use it electronically. You could use it, you could print it up, and that you could use it to create your classes, right? And I'm going to open up, before we opened up from primary, I'm going to open up something from secondary. Let's let's see, the 4th grade one, function 59. I'm going to open this up. Function 59. I click on the function and there are 3, as you can see, there's 3 different PDFs that you can download. And I want to show you this one too, because this activity, let's see, let's go to this one. And you'll see that in part of the resource packet, so we have the links that are the information that's in Spanish that links directly to the new curriculum, the pauta para la elaboración de la situación de aprendizaje, competencias específicas and indicadores de logros, all of that, and it's right in Spanish, so you can just make that quick connection there. And then it has the objective, strategies, materials, and the procedure. So you can read through our lesson plan and you can choose, right? You can carrot, right? You can choose, you can adapt, you can reject, and you can expand on anything that you find here. So you can use care. And what I want to show you, this one, there's the instructions, and then there's this fun board game. Have you ever, or oh, when? And this board game actually comes from the American English website sponsored by the US government. And it's absolutely free. And then, so here's the game. All you need to do is print it up, or you could, if you're teaching electronically, you can download the PDF and then you can upload this into your presentation, right? You can do anything you want to this. You can carrot. Nadine, I'm so glad that you love them, for sure. And Davey, thank you for sharing your thoughts on the philosophical and theoretical foundations. It is absolutely important to contextualize all of this work, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes, Luisa, we can send you the link again in the chat. If someone could send the link out again to the resources, that would be great. And so this, in each of these, you will find 2 activities and additional resources. You're clicking on the link to download the PDF and does not allow you to. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. If I go to I click on here to expand the PDF and I look at it, and then I don't know, can you see there's 3 dots? Right, let me get my annotation here and see if this works. And Yvonne and Carlin's let me know. Bye, Lucy. Thanks for visiting. Let me know if you can see this here. There's right up here on the right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. If I click on those 3 dots, oh no, wait, sorry. There's actually on this one, there's actually there's the little icon for downloading. I click on that and that gets me to download. So I am not sure, and it says where you can download it. So let's see, for Ramon, let's Ramon, can you try again and see what happens? See if it opens and see if you can download it. And Franklin asked, when will you have them available? It's available now. It's online. You can use it now. It's free. It's here. Maybe later on we could talk with Jean and people from the curriculum office. I don't know, and I don't think there's a plan to put all this onto paper. That's not in our hands. That would be something from MINERD, and I don't know I don't know. But all of this is available right now, right here for you, right? So you've got the link, go for it. It's yours, right? It's yours. You don't need a specific password to download this. It's open. It's open. So try to download it now and try to download one and see how it goes. Let's see. So that is what we have for the American English Teacher's Guide, right? This is for the Teacher's Guide. And if we go back to our beginning and we click on the American English Student Workbooks, again, I want to share with you that You could come in and click on any grade. Right now, there's 2 units. Soon we'll have 5. Oh, that's so interesting. Ramon, after I finish giving this presentation, I'm going to finish sharing this. I'll come back to trying to think about downloading. And in the meantime, if somebody else could try downloading and see how it goes, that would be helpful. In the student workbooks, we click on the unit, and again, you'll see 3 different or 2 different documents, 2 or 3 documents for each one. You'll see the student workbook and you'll see the answer key. So if I click on the student workbook, in the student, again, you should be able to download it. Sometimes I download from the 3 dots, and sometimes I download from an icon. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know exactly why, but you should be able to download them. And we'll work on that after this. But I want to just walk you quickly through this. You have the introduction to the unit. You have the self-assessment that you can use. You can copy and paste this. You could use, if you're using Google Classrooms, or another learning management system, you could upload this onto your system. We have activity, we've scaffolded the vocabulary activities. You'll see exercise 1, exercise 2, 3, 4. So you'll see as you go through, it has the activity and the instructions for the activity. And then a grammar, same sort of thing. It's the activities are scaffolded, and we have some of the instructions are in Spanish. So hopefully that might help parents have an understanding, at least, or try to understand what we expect of the students. And then we also have the exercise for reading, and you'll see the reading activity, the reading text, and then each text has an audio file. So if you click on the audio file, you can also download the audio files, right? They're free, they're there for you to use. If you listen to the audio file, and we can.
Hello, Cesar. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
I'm fine. I'll be traveling to your town next week and wanted to ask you about a few directions. I have never been to Los Angeles town.
Oh, it's so beautiful here. Sure, go ahead.
How do I get to the nearest park from the bus stop?
From the bus stop, walk straight 6 blocks and then turn left. Walk another 2 blocks and you will see the park on your left. The name of the park is Columbus
I'm going to
Park.
stop there. But, and some of you that know Roger and Nico probably heard Roger and Nico's voices there, which was fun. And as you see up here on the right, there's a download icon. So if I click on that, I can download the audio, right? And if the same with this PDF, if I click up on these 3 dots, I click here, I can download. Right? Does that make sense? Miguelina, hello, Miguelina. Yeah, you knew his voices. That's fun. So I'm hoping that will help. The other thing, remember, in our workbooks, there's also, you'll find after the grammar exercises, you'll have a final self-assessment task. You go back to doing the self-assessing, and then a learning portfolio task where they bring all of the vocabulary, grammar, and information together, and they create something. And then we have flashcards and some ideas for using the flashcards. And you'll see here the flashcards are at the end. All of these images we took from places that were free images. So you can take them and do whatever you'd like with them as well. And remember, there's also Quizlet. So for a student that has the online access, you can go to Quizlet and you can play some games, and you can practice with the flashcards. So all the flashcards are in Quizlet. You can do different activities with learning and writing and spelling and tests. You can also play some games. There's a matching game. So if we start this matching game, I have to move the word to the place. And if it's correct, let's see, cinema, here we go. If it's correct, it disappears. So we go to the mall. Let's see if we go there. No, it wasn't correct. It didn't disappear. Move it, it disappears. So these are, let's see, these are activities that you can do on Quizlet, and you can have, and then I can find, oh, I got first place because I think I'm the only person who's played it. So, but so there's, if you want your students to do some competition, you can do that. The other nice thing about Quizlet is that if you would like to use Quizlet yourself and create your own classroom for your students, you can just copy all of these flashcards. It's very easy to create your own sets of, just copy them, and then you can actually follow your students' work in Quizlet if you want, or you can send them here and you can have them do things here. So it's really up to you all. So that is another quick rundown. I would like to just give you some space and time to explore the American English online resources. So what I'm going to do is just answer questions, and Francisco, yes, they are printable. Absolutely, you can print them. Franklin, I'm glad it's what you needed. I think it's amazing too. Pablo, I'm glad it's better. That's great. Rafael, I'm glad you like Quizlet. You can use the Quizlet sets and you can copy all of them yourselves. So take some time, play, explore. And if you have questions, raise your hand or unmute, or ask us to unmute you, and we will be here. We'll take about 15 minutes to explore, and then we'll have some closing comments, and we'll also do the closing attendance sheet. Zoila knew the voices. Hi, Estella, I'm sorry that you have problems with the connection. Yeah, that's hard. I wish I had a magic wand. Oh, Amado, you have they won't download. Amado, are you in the teacher's guide or the student workbooks? Oh, thanks, Josandria. That's a great option. If the download doesn't work, click on print and then save them as a PDF. Absolutely. Okay, Amado's in the guide. Student workbook link, I will send that to you right now. Here's the student workbook link. Ana Silvia. Angel David, I'm not sure I understand the question. Are you thinking the teacher's guide and the workbooks together? If so, they're not directly linked in that way. They have two very different intentions. The teacher's guide was created before the pandemic, and it was for you to be able to download the material and use it and adapt it for your circumstances. But it was, the material was made for you. It's called a teacher's guide, and it was for the teachers. You can totally use it. And the student workbook was made during the pandemic so that you could use it in a number of different ways. If you want to just print it up and send it out to the students, like if they don't have any access to technology, then that they could just have a printed version of it. But you could also use it or use parts of it. You could it, right? Choose and adapt and reject or expand, and use it in the classes that you're teaching online, right? Those should be activities that you could directly use. Eliezer, there are programs out there to convert in Word. We do not have Word versions available because it's too complicated with it just gets really complicated with the formatting. And the teacher's guide is based on the curriculum, and the workbook is they're both based on the new curriculum. And Franklin is asking if we have the approval of the ministry, can they use the material right now? I would like to invite Jean and Robert to come in and answer that question. Do they have the ministry's permission to use this material?
Yes, sure. You have the permission to use them. The guide and the cuadernillos right now.
Now, yesterday, you can use them yesterday. How is that?
Mary?
Yes.
I was texting, chatting with Ramon. Is a question he wasn't able to download a PDF. He was talking about the teacher's guide, and there's a link that says download all the functions in one PDF. It seems that that's not working, but if they can download first grade, secondary. They can download one by one.
Oh, that's a question that maybe Mary or Carlans could answer.
Yeah, I see the 4th grade function set is here for sure. If we go back to 5th grade, I'm not sure which grade they're using.
First grade, secondary.
1st grade, secondary. Let's see. 1st grade, secondary. No preview available. The file is in our trash. No, you cannot download that right now. I'm sorry, but you can do it individually. So right now you can do it individually. We are working to finish all of this up. And so as soon as we get the final copies from the final approval, we'll make sure that all of those links are there. But right now I know all the individual ones are. Some of them are the first draft. Some of them are the second draft, the final, the more final draft. But we need to get, we're waiting for the final edits, and then we'll make sure it's all there. The only final edit changes are very small things. The activities will be the same. The activity is all there. So you can certainly use it the way it is. And the final versions are coming. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ram.
Sorry about that, Marina. There's a question. Would you like to speak? And also there's a question about the ministry.
Yes, I have a question, ma'am. I have a question. I want to know, like you said, we got those material before the pandemic, and I want to know if those material that they were going to give us for the student, we can have them physically.
I could answer that. I'm not sure, or we are not sure if the students are going to have the printed material in this school year, because it's almost March, and maybe it would not be possible to print them for the students. But we hope that maybe for next year, next school year, the students will have the materials printed. But anyway, you can use them online, and you can use them to send the exercises, or you can print them and photocopy it or photocopy them.
Thanks, John. Herman?
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity. Concerning to that part, so the colleagues, one of the colleagues were telling us about in order to get those quadernillos physically. But I think that if those quadernillos are designed in order that the student can work online, it's gonna be good. So it means that if it is have the facility that the student can edit, this is the question that I would like to ask to Mary. So the student can edit the quadernillo just online.
No, we don't have a site where your students could actually edit or do anything with online. You'll have to either move it into your own learning management system or print it and use it that way. These are just, this is more like a place that you can access it.
Okay, it's a resource that we can also start just adapting. The things that I'm just doing is that I'm just creating PowerPoint slices, and in these PowerPoint slices, so the student also can also start just creating activities in quizzes, or could be Kahoot, in order that the student can interact with the material, with the activities.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
That sounds great, Herman. Herman, when you create resources, I hope you share them with teachers. That sounds wonderful.
I would like to say something about that question. We are thinking about converting the materials so that the students can work on them directly. Yes. We talk about it.
Great.
And yes, the thing is that we are in the just reviewing the materials, and we don't have a final version yet. But as soon as that happens, we are going to try to put them in that way, so that the student could work directly online with the materials.
Thank you so much. How about Elizabeth?
Hi, hello everybody. Well, I want to say thank you for all the materials and results that you share with us, because we can have multiple ideas and utilities to them, and all the resource we can uh, work with all the students' competence, like comprehension, like speaking, listening, and reading. And that make the results very useful and very rich in strategies and possibilities. And that's fantastic and great for me. Thanks a lot.
I'm so glad to hear that, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
How about Angel David? Oh, sorry. There we go. How's that? Can you unmute, Angel David? I keep asking you to, but it's not, doesn't seem to be working. What now? Okay, I'm going to keep you in the spotlight now and see if you can get them unmute, and we'll move on right now to, let's see, Luis Argentina. Let's see if we can get you to unmute. Can you unmute, Melissa?
Hi.
Hello.
Can you see me?
Yes.
So it's a wonderful thing that you are preparing the teachers through this training. I love the way you show all together. In fact, I'm not using this kind of tools because we have English teacher. We have here in my school a platform. So it's like we have everything together, and there my students show their assignments and they see how they are going in the classes. So, but I will take a look at that. So maybe I can use some of the material. But it's a good idea for the students that don't have any tools. So this will be good for maybe this year and next year. That's what I think about.
Yeah, I think you're muted.
Oh, okay, thanks so much. Thanks, Luisa. And how about next? We'll have Will.
Hello, everybody. How are you, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just want to tell you that I have somehow that I can download the material. So I know that it's been so difficult because when you first click on the function, so it opens a window. So before it disappears, the function to download, you need to click on this function. So 2 or 3 seconds before it disappears, you can click on it and you get everything downloaded. I download all the material right now. I want you to know that.
Thank you so much, Will. That's fantastic. I appreciate it. I hope that you can share and teach with your colleagues. That's great. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, let's try Luis. Luis, that was. Let's see. Can you unmute?
All right, I got a question. Mrs. Bogart. And does the government stick with the idea of long distance learning for the rest of the school year?
I don't work directly with that issue, but I have heard that they are preparing the protocols in order to decide if it is possible, but they are working on that.
All right, thank you. It's gonna be difficult for me to adapt again.
Right, yes. Thank you so much, Luis. Let's see, Angel, can we get you to unmute again? You want to try again? And then we'll go to, let's see, who has not? We have Dorcas and Herman. Can you do it, Angel? We keep asking you. I'm sorry. Jean, would you like to, or Robert, would you like to talk about how the material will be used on TV?
Oh, yes, sure. That's important. We are using the workbooks or the cuadernillos for preparing the lesson plans that are used for making the TV programs, the English TV programs. So when you can check in the workbooks the exercises and the activities that are presented, some of them in the TV program.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Herman, would you like to ask a question or make a comment?
Okay, thank you. Concerning to the activity just in the cuadernillo. So the activity just there. So I have already got in touch with some of the activities. I think that is really interesting, very focused. But I didn't see, I got in touch also with some listening. So it's mean that it's included listening. But my question for you, because I don't know if it is included, if it has some videos, something like that, in order to present it to the students.
Some of the activities in the teacher's guide have some videos, some, not all of them, but all of the activities in the workbook have audio.
Okay, audio, because you know the students get connected with the pictures, picture images. Somebody said that an image say something, talks more than 100 words, more or less. In this case, where the student get connected with some images, so they can also understand better without translating by making a mental linkage with the image. So I think that could be possible maybe in the future, start just adapting or adding some of those resources in order that each unit get connected, have included a video.
Okay, even though they don't have videos, the cuadernillos, they have plenty of attractive images for the students. Many, many, and very attractive. And also, they have the Quizlet that is like it's not a video, but it's an animation resource. It has animation, and it's good. I like to meme myself. I myself like to work with the Quizlet. It's really fun, and I think that students will like it.
Herman, the other thing I just want to say, Herman, I hear you wanting videos, but they're extremely expensive. And we do not have the resources to make videos to go with it. It's so expensive. Making the audio is virtually free. It's very inexpensive. But making the video would have been so much more money that we don't have that kind of funding.
Okay, no, in this
you
case,
can make video.
But not only, okay, excuse me. Maybe I know that they could be very expensive, but also by adding just like a link, so YouTube have a lot of.
So we can't do that, Herman, because not all videos on YouTube are open source permissions. So our materials are sponsored by the US government, and anything that we make is available and free to anybody. But not all videos on YouTube really have permission for us to use them. So you can, as an individual, can go in and use them and find them for sure. But as an institution, I don't have permission to use those materials in an institutional way.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So we had to be careful about permissions. But I'm thinking now, I love your passion. And what I would like to see, my challenge for Dominican teachers in Regional 15 in Santo Domingo, right? What if you make videos? You guys could make videos to go with this and we could share them. And they would be very authentic. And we could, that would be interesting too, because then it would be more of a homemade videos.
Okay, it could be possible because we have they are also Omari screen. So you can also start just creating video.
I think so. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to hear about how you all use the materials.
And another issue with YouTube videos is that sometimes they remove the videos from the link, so you cannot use them anymore. That's another reason. But as Mary said, you can use all those videos in YouTube.
Yeah, you can use them, but we can't offer them. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks,
So
Herman.
is there a way to know, so if those videos are we have the access or permission in order to use them?
You would
or
have
not?
to. We're not
So
offering
I'm
them.
talking about online. So in order to, like, we can also watch the videos just online.
I don't know. Starting to rain here. Can you hear it? Let's move on. We have Robert Garcia and Francisca both have questions. So let's move on to Robert. Thank you, Herman. Thank you.
Is it me, Mary, you're talking about?
Yes.
All right. Maybe we'll leave it to the end, because now I see that they're asking questions about the resources, if they are available for them. Yes, they are available, but there's something else. We are recording classes for TV, and I think these classes are going to be available for teachers to use, and all those classes are based on the planning we're doing after the cuadernillos, after the workbooks, so they are related. You might find interesting materials in the classes we are recording for TV also, that are going to be available over YouTube. So you wanted videos.
Robert.
Now you have a lot of videos based on the same materials you're using.
That's true, the TV.
For all grades.
Right. Sure. Thanks. Okay, Francisca, did you have a question? Francisca, I invite you to unmute. Francisca. Okay, let's go to Will Cater. Did you have a question?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a little question. I was just reviewing the material, so I saw that there was a part that said that the teacher is gonna write on the board. I don't really understand this part, because we know that we are having class, from the house. So
Will, those materials for the teacher's guide were made before the pandemic, not during the pandemic. And so you are going to have to use care, right? You're going to have to choose, you're going to have to adapt, you're going to have to reject, or you're going to have to expand. But you're going to have to really do the adapting to how you'll be using that during the pandemic, because they were created before the pandemic.
okay. Is this the kind of workbook that we're gonna use? The second question is that if I have students from the 6th grade of secondary, so they didn't use the last year the 5th grade workbook, so how they gonna continue learning what they are supposed to learn in the book of 5th grade?
Well, I think that it is necessary to adapt and to give a scaffolding to the students. And if something is very hard for the students, the level is too high for the students, maybe you can use the materials of the previous grade or previous grades, because our curriculum is flexible, open, and open, and
Okay.
have to adapt the materials to the students' needs and conditions. So you can use
There is a little problem with that. I can see that there is a little problem with that. So you know what, that when we are making the plan to work, so the supervisor will need that the plan will be focused on the grade that we are we are teaching. But if I'm working with the sixth grade and I make a plan using the fifth grade book, do you think that's correct? Do you think that she gonna applause that? Oh, she gonna accept it?
Well, I don't know if it's going to happen. I hope so. But anyway, I insist that you can use your content, the content of the grade that you are teaching, but you can give a scaffold to your students, provide a scaffold to your students.
Okay. So I think that you're recording this meeting. So maybe if I can have, the link after the meeting. So when I make this kind of advice that you gave me, so I can prove her that you told me that I can do that. Sometimes I say that they told me that I can do that, but they just say, no, you need to make your plan according the grade.
It depends on the supervisor, I think.
Oh, it depends. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. I'll try to
Will,
remember and let her know about that.
Tell them to
so
call us.
Will, yeah, you can have them call you. We can't, I'm not here to do policy decisions. I hear you saying you want to create lesson plans that work for your students, right? You care
Yeah.
about your students learning and you really want them. So I feel for you. I think everybody's trying to figure out how to help the students learn the best. And one thing I can say is you can use these materials. You can use them today. Somebody was asking in the chat, when can you start using the resources? You can use them right now. And I think there's got to be a way to talk with your supervisor about how you make decisions about what you're using. You'll see in the teacher's guide, we sometimes use similar functions in different language for those functions. So you might see the same function in fourth grade and fifth grade. So that you could go and you can play with it a little bit in that sense that, there's easier language in fourth grade than in fifth grade. That might be an option.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. I really appreciate.
In the cuadernillos, sometimes the function is in several grades, the same function.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
sometimes
Will, it happened.
Thank you for caring so much about your students.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Let's have Rosa and then Evarista. Evaristo, sorry. Rosa and then Evaristo. Sorry. Rosa?
Okay, hello. I wanted to add something to what Will, I think it was the name, was saying. Sometimes you have a grade and you have, well, not sometimes, I'll say all the time, different levels. And students may know more than others. Usually they take private classes. So you cannot just plan based on merely a book. You have to differentiate the instructions. Sometimes the level of difficulty is not going to be the same, even within the same group. So it's not that you're going to use another book. We're teaching language, how to communicate, and we're teaching the same from the very first grades till high school, and same to the university, because we're just talking to communicate. So I think that you should just adapt the lesson based on your students' needs and not just changing the book. That's not how it works. You can still use the book, but the activities you use are gonna have, I'll say, beginner or intermediate level, depending on the level. That's my opinion. And I have a question for you, Mary. I would like to know if we're gonna continue receiving trainings regarding the resources you are providing to us, at least for the English and French teachers. It's been a chaos because we don't have answers. We ask questions, nobody has the answers for us. And the cuadernillo that the school received was only for, I'll say, the basic subjects, not extracurricular subjects. And when we have questions, they say, well, we assume that you're going to use the same, but the indicators are not there and we don't have anything. So I think it's a very nice opportunity that we get to have the cuadernillos now, it was going to be better if we received them back in November, but unfortunately we couldn't receive it. But I would like to know if we're going to have some sort of preparation. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Rosa. I hear you, and I also hear Francisco saying you wish you could have had these earlier. I hear that. I wish you could have had them earlier, but we're here now. I can't change the past. I can't go backwards. I can hear your regrets, but I can't change what's happened in the past, but we can move forward. Right? So they're here now, we have them now, and this is the opportunity. We're giving them to you right now. I don't know if there's going to be more trainings. I have no idea. That would have to be something that would come up with the ministry, with the embassy. You're looking for time and funding, and this. So I don't. My answer for that is I don't know, but I do know that you have access. You have access to all that's there. And if you filled out the attendance forms with your emails, when we have any changes or updates, we'll send that to you. I'm also thinking, this training is making me think a lot about how much you all can do and how can we get you all to train each other. Because a lot of you are already doing some really amazing things in the classroom, and this is just an extra. Some of you are finding that this is something that's going to support you, but I don't know if there's much more other than saying, have a look at this, try it out, explore it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I don't know if there's going to be more trainings, but I do know you have access.
Yes, I would like to say something about it. Maybe, I think that your supervisors, los técnicos distritales and regionales, could give a training to all of you, because they do it and they usually do it. And also we are going to organize some trainings regarding to what you have seen to continue this training in order to answer questions and clarify and give some examples of how to use the cuadernillos. And you can also ask through your districts and regionals to INAFOCAM to prepare trainings for you, because that's the institution in the Ministry of Education that is in charge of teachers training. So you ask them through your INAFOCAM representative in your district and regional, what are your needs, and they will make the process of asking INAFOCAM to prepare those trainings for you.
Thanks. Thanks so much, John. And thank you so much, Rosa. I hear how much you care. Thank you for that. It makes a huge difference. So thank you. I also want to check in. Yvonne, can you help us find Carlins and Lisa to bring them in? So if they turn their videos on, we can bring them into the spotlight while we have 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap up. So Evaristo, would you like to ask a question? Or
All
make a
right, I
comment?
would like to ask something. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been great. But my real concern is on polytechnic school and like ESP, like English for specific purposes, where we can address the needs that they have. What do we have in that respect?
No, we don't have materials for polytechnicos because, you know, there are many branches of specializations in polytechnicos. How many are there? I don't know exactly, but I heard that there were like 30 or 40 different branches, and it would be very difficult to prepare materials for each one. So right now we don't have anything about.
Yeah, but this is a very good opportunity for us to start thinking on the material, the vocabulary, the topic that we got to be dealing in the classroom. Well, we've got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that at least, Evaristo, we can offer you, what's the word, a machote, a template. Sorry, can't think in English. A nice machote, at least that you could follow as you all create your materials. Like, you know, we have the theoretical foundations, but you could also go through and say, what kind of activities did we do? And if you could use that as a copy, that would be wonderful too. You know, these materials are for you to be used in any way.
Like a generic material, like generic materials that you can adapt to each branch of the technical studies. It could be something like that.
Okay.
And also it's simple. I don't know if it was mentioned about the modalidades. Did we talk? Did you talk about?
No, we haven't talked about the salidas optativas. No.
Ajá, las modalidades, las salidas optativas, perdón, no modalidades, salidas optativas. There is being prepared materials for salidas optativas.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. The last question or comment is Ingrid Matos. Okay, let's see. Okay, how about now, Lisa? Ingrid, does that work?
Oh, that's there. We have a question.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Ingrid.
My name is Ingrid Matos, and I work in the ICAS, that is a Polytechnico. My question is about, like the other partner say to you, Mr. Bogart, because my Polytechnico is technical branches. For example, I have the sixth grade secondary informatics. I have a five grade secondary logistics. And I have 4 secondary logistics and accounting. What about that, the cuadernillo?
No. As I said, we don't have cuadernillos for the technical, for las salidas, pardon, por the modalidad técnica profesional. We don't have cuadernillos, but I like to say, I saw a question in the chat that if the materials are going to be used when the school opens, and the answer is yes, of course, because the guide was prepared for presential lessons, and the cuadernillos can be used or online or can be used when the schools open.
Okay, I prepare to adapt.
Pardon?
To adapt the cuadernillos to the branch.
Adapt.
Yes, and the guide too.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks for your question and interest, Ingrid. Thank you so much. Okay, we are going to move now to closing out. So I would love to invite Lisa and Robert and John to make any closing comments that you'd like, and then I'll wrap up. And please remember, everybody, to fill out the closing attendance sheet. We'll get Yvonne to send that link to you all. But please make sure that you fill out the attendance and feedback form that is being sent out to the chat. The closing. All right, Lisa or Robert?
All right. Hello again. Thank you for attending to this video workshop. And please remember that the curriculum is series of guidelines for you to use it, but it is not a textbook. It is just the guidelines for writing textbooks, for writing guides, for writing workbooks, and any other type of resources. That's why the curriculum is that flexible. That flexibility allows the curriculum.
Maybe Robert is having some issues with the internet connection that's happening lately all over the country.
right.
So I guess I'll take the turn.
Thanks.
Maybe he will back in a few minutes.
Okay,
So I don't know.
I'm here.
Back?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm back. So I was saying that the curriculum is not a straitjacket, and if it is a straitjacket, it is a loose straitjacket, and it allows you for making decisions. You are professionals, so you need to care, as Mary says. You need to care for the materials you are having in your hands, facing your students' needs and interests. Sometimes the Ministry of Education evaluates a textbook and we send the textbook to you, but you need to evaluate the textbook and see how the textbook fits your students' needs and students' level. You see, so anyways, you will never have a material for each particular situation you are facing in your local schools and classrooms. Take hand of all these materials we are providing and take the best out of them and make a good use of them. Also go chase for materials you will find available online, and you have less restrictions than the institutions to use the materials that are available there over YouTube and any other resources you might find. Okay, a last thought is, remember, our curriculum is flexible because it is born out of a constructivist view that is enhanced with our dialogues. So each time we interact, we learn from each other, and that's the same way we teach our students, not in a completely controlled environment, but allowing students to express themselves and use language to communicate and interact. Thank you so much for participating here and for this opportunity. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Robert. Lisa?
Thank you, Mary. Morning all, everybody. Thanks, Mary, and Centro Espiral Mana, Domenico, the other institute, people from MINERD. Thank you to our técnicos regionales distritales for sending the invitations to the teachers. And thanks, of course, to you teachers for attending this today's section. I've been listening to all the questions and I feel so glad that we have questions, because if we have questions, it means that we care and that we want to do our job better. So thanks for your questions. Unfortunately, we don't have all the answers, but we're here to help in any way that we could. Some people were asking questions about materials for polytechnicos. We know that problem and we want to work on that. It will be one day, but so far, maybe what could help, it's like, in my case, I also teach, and sometimes I have books and I have all the materials, but still they're enough because we always have these mixed level students in our classes. Something that we can do is just try to see what is the content that we're supposed to teach and try to look for information online. Like, we can use the same strategies that are used here in Cuadernillos. So just try to imitate the strategies, the way the activities are designed, and trying to look that content online. I know it's a lot of work because I know I do it all the time, and it takes time to find good materials, to adapt them, to look for pictures. I know it's very hard, but even with the best book you have, you will always have to look for extra supporting material or resources. So please feel free to contact your technicals, and your technicals can contact us. We are always available. And I like that today I saw some people were sharing some websites, places where you can find information. So let's try to build this community. You as teachers from your schools and distritos get together, because sometimes we really want to, but we cannot. And there's for many issues there at the office. But please try to build that community within yourselves. And please help us doing that too, because we want to hear your voice. We want to see what you think, and we want to see what you want to do in your classes. We don't only want to be providers. We want that all of us be a part of this huge community that is the Ministerio de Educación de la República Dominicana. Please feel part of it, because you are part of the Ministerio. Sometimes people say, people from MINERD, but who are people from MINERD? We all are people from MINERD. Even Mary, that's collaborating for us now, is people from MINERD or Carlens. So we all MINERD. Feel free, embrace that. You are MINERD. You are free to also help to create, and please share that. Maybe that is the most important part. Whenever you have an awesome ideas, please share with your fellow teachers, and please try that idea comes to us so we can share with the rest of the teachers in the country. Thank you for the opportunity. And we hear you, we see you, and we appreciate what you're doing, even if you don't see us, but we see you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mary.
Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, for participating in this training. Thank you to Mary. Thanks to Mary and to her team. And we hope you enjoy and take advantage of this training. As Lisa said, any concern that you may have, you can talk to your técnicos distritales and regionales, and you can contact us directly if you want. Okay, it's over, right?
No, you can keep going. Sorry.
I thought it.
Sorry.
Okay, and teacher training is a key factor in order to improve instructional practices in our system. And I think that this training will help us fulfill our educational system needs. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Carlin?
Hi, everybody. Has been a very exciting morning. I think that this has been our more curious and active group so far. So again, another group, Regional 15, has set the bar high for the others in order to participation and curiosity. Thank you very much for that morning. And as I'm going to echo what Lisa said, we are all MINERD. We are all teaching in the Dominican Republic for students in the Dominican Republic. So we're all part of this process. And I'm also going to invite you, as Lisa said, to be an active part of your professional development. Thank you for taking advantage of this time. Thank you for being present during this time. And thank you all for a wonderful participation today. Thank you, and please embrace every learning opportunity, exactly like this one. Bye, guys. See you in the next one.
Thanks, Carlin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Everybody who's come, everybody who's participated. Thank you, Lisa, Robert, and John from the Ministry of Education, Carlin's from the Dominico. We want to thank the U.S. Embassy from Santo Domingo and the Office of English Language Programs from the U.S. State Department. Here from the Institute of Collaborative Learning, and on behalf of all of us here, we're just really grateful, and we hope that you like and use the resources and enjoy them. And I love feeling like I'm a part, Lisa. Thank you. I feel like a part of MINERD for sure. God. We opened with a question of where do we feel loved, and I definitely feel loved in the Dominican Republic. So it's been nice for me to feel the Dominican love today.
That's it.
So thank you so much. And please fill out the feedback form, everybody, and have a safe and wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Yvonne, for all your help too. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan, for your support.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, all teachers. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Mm.